Global markets have marked time this last week after the sharp falls seen through September, as the focus really has turned to US politics. President Trump and former Vice President Biden slugged it out in a chaotic first presidential debate on Tuesday. In a series of acrimonious exchanges, Trump declined to condemn white supremacist groups and again supported the fact that he might not accept the election outcome. Biden called the president a racist and told him to shut up. With moderator Chris Wallace of Fox News appearing to lose control of the process, calls for the rules for the next two debates to be updated to allow for a more orderly discussion were quick to surface, but just as quickly rejected by Trump in a tweet questioning, why would I allow the debate commission to change the rules for the second and third debates when I clearly won them last time? The next debates are set for October 15 in Miami and October 22 in Nashville, and vice presidential event will take place later next week on October 7 in Salt Lake City. The other big battle this week was in Capitol Hill, Washington, as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin tried to find common ground on a fiscal support package. While the two sides have held multiple rounds of talks through the week, there still appears to be a lot of daylight between the two proposed bills. The House has just passed a $2.2 trillion package, but this is likely to fail in the Senate, while Mnuchin appears to have upped their offer to $1.6 trillion US dollars. While this amount would be less than half the proposed $3 trillion in the HEROES Act passed back in May by the Democrat-controlled House, the fact that the two sides are still talking and a bill of $1.5 trillion or more is still feasible has helped equity markets stabilize into the end of the week. Now, US economic data emphasized how sharp the hit has been to households as pandemic unemployment assistance ended at the end of July. US personal income fell 2.7 in August, with the drop in income worth $540 billion, which was larger than economists had forecast. The softer data was accompanied by a 1% drop in consumption and household savings rate dropping to 14.1% in August from 17.7% in July, as Americans were forced to draw down on cash reserves to put food on the table. This week also saw a harsh reminder that companies are beginning to move on and restructure businesses, slashing tens of thousands of workers in the US. United Airlines announced they would be cutting 13,000 jobs, American Airlines 19,000 jobs, and Walt Disney a massive 28,000 jobs in the US alone. Now, focus on the passage of any support bill will continue into the weekend and next week too. We also have the FOMC minutes from the September 15-16 Fed meeting, which will be released Wednesday next week. At this meeting, the Fed shifted to a flexible average inflation targeting framework. A discussion about the Fed's easing intentions under this new model will closely be watched by the market and could see the US dollar under pressure. Fed Chair Powell will also speak Tuesday at the annual meeting of the National Association for Business Economics in Chicago on the US economic outlook. It's also worthy of note that Brexit talks were due to wrap up this week between the UK and Europe, and we were supposed to be moving to a final agreement. In a sign of how far apart the two sides are, the EU commenced legal proceedings over the UK Internal Market Bill, which European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen argued was, by its very nature, a breach of the obligation of good faith laid down in the withdrawal agreement. So we're likely to see a lot more Brexit uncertainty in the weeks and months ahead. Now, it's a huge week here in Australia, dominated by the Tuesday RBA meeting and then 5 hours later, the federal budget. Westpac's chief economist Bill Evans is arguing that personal income tax cuts are likely to be the central theme of the budget, while business investment and infrastructure will also be boosted. Bill has also moved his Team Australia rate cut forecast to November 3, so we'll be watching for any guidance in the RBA policy statement. Data next week includes August trade balance Tuesday, weekly payrolls data Wednesday, and the final August retail sales on Friday. It's also a holiday-shortened week with the New South Wales holiday on Monday. So with much uncertainty around, it's hard to imagine the Aussie dollar gaining much ground above 72 cents last week after recovering just over 2% so far this week from the lows just above 70 cents late last week. Key, of course, will be the outcome of the budget and the RBA. And these are factors we'll certainly be talking about in next week's market update.